Today is a rather interesting day. The lesson today asks a very important question. And our pastor has given us a pretty good idea of the answer. Who is our brother? And today, I thought we would discuss the subject of quilts. Quilting has become a big part of our lives. And I'm going to ask Adrienne some questions. What made you take up quilting?
Well, sewing was part of my life for many years, and with sewing you need a pattern. With quilting there are patterns, but you can also create your own pattern, and that's often what I do.
So when did you start with this exercise?
I guess it was probably around 2000 or thereabouts. I thought, I'd like to learn, I'll go to a class. And so I learned how to do hand quilting, and then putting a 12-inch square with another 12-inch square, and then another one, and using other fabrics to join them together and eventually to make a quilt.
All right, so let's look at how you make a quilt. You've got some pieces here and some bits and equipment.
Okay, well, for me, I have got quite a stash of fabric after that 20-odd years, and so I'm trying to use up that stash now. So one of the recent ones, I had bought some fabric maybe to make some cushions, but then I decided, no, I don't want to make a cushion. And so I'm making a knee rug for a cousin of mine who's a bit older than me, and I was thinking that maybe a knee rug would be good. So this was my idea of keeping the pattern, because I like the little ducks on the edge, and I thought, well, I'll just go with the colours. But then for the backing, what do I do for that? So this is my idea for the backing. Lots more squares, but lots of different colours. And I have embroidered a couple of squares. One square says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good," Psalms 34:8, and there's a strawberry on it. Another square I've put, "Fear not, for I am with you wherever you go." And this idea came to me from my recent group that I have joined now that we are living in Cooranbong. That quilt up there on the screen is two hearts joined together with log cabin. That was my very big challenge, and in that quilt you've got lots of pictures as well, and I did that for Rochelle and Jared. Where was I?
Now, while you were with your group there at Morisset, you've got a group there making quilts. What have they done with their quilts?
Okay, with these quilts, there's a group of people who gather together, and they have, somebody cuts it out, someone else will start putting it together, or several ladies put it together, and then you need to, once you've done it like this, you need to put it together, the front and back needs a filling. So these fillings can be bought from the shops, and you can make them whatever size you want, and they're either cotton or a wool or a combination. The ones that we give to our community quilts, we always try to make cotton, because we're never quite sure whether they will wash them in warm water or hot water, because if wool washed in hot water, it shrinks and then the quilt wouldn't be so nice.
Now, there's been a bit of a project on it, helping people in the floods, I believe. What's the story there?
Okay. With the Toronto church group that I've now done, because I first of all, before we moved up to Currumbong, I was working with the community group at East Gosford Ladies, and we were making quilts for various charities and people in need. When I moved to Currumbong, I was introduced to the ex-SAN nurses who like to make quilts. And see on that screen there now, it says, "Be thankful for all things, both great and small." So the ladies at Toronto Church have been giving us these little squares at the ex-SAN nurses, and we've been putting these into our quilts. And I think it's a wonderful idea, because when we then give these quilts away, there's a little message about God to these people. And the Toronto Church were able to give many of their church to people in the flooded area at Lismore. So that was really special. And also I've got up here, I didn't say that with quilting, you need a special ruler. It can be a long one or a square one or even a smaller one than this. And then you can make squares, little squares, which is what is in this quilt, or you can make bigger squares and join them different colours. Colour is an amazing thing because it changes what things look like. And this is squares of stripes, and depending on how you put the squares together as to what it would look like. And this is another one with squares, but then I've cut it in diagonally and I've made stripes in a different way. So there's lots of different ways and creative ways of making fun with fabrics with colour. And it's something that I enjoy doing, but I also enjoy knowing that these quilts are going to be used for someone else. And I often have said, when I've been making them, I said, "Lord, I don't know who's going to receive this quilt, but please bless them and help them to come to know you better."
On the screen right now, you'll see a picture of Adrienne doing some quilting. There's a frame with rollers and two little XY tables that allow the machine to move around over the quilt. And you can do about, 8 or so inches of depth, maybe a bit more. Yeah. And you then adjust the roll everything up. The work that's finished rolls away, and the rollers in front of you supply. So I hope that's been interesting to you on the quilting.
And
life.
When we moved, I said to Dennis, I want to be able to continue my quilting. So I need to be able to fit my quilter into our new retirement place. And we found a place very easily. The Lord provided. There's a sunroom, which this is in, and this is in our new home, where I can do the quilts very easily and comfortably.